I'm Oisin Gill from Hollymount in County Mayo. We're milking 145 cows here in a spring calf and herd. We're lucky enough here, we have a fairly dry farm, so we got out early in spring, in the shoulders of the year, hoping to push to 200 next year. Joined the programme 3 years ago to improve grass production on the farm and just to improve the KPIs on the farm really, and also to get help on improving the labour set up on the farm, make the farm more labour efficient. The farm is currently fairly labour demanding, so I wanted to improve on that as well. Well, the herd has grown over the last number of years and the facilities haven't really moved with it, so that needed to be looked at, and hopefully down the road we're nearly there with that now, you know. We're currently milking 145 cows in a 7-unit double up parlour. It's taken about 5 hours a day in the pit to milk the cows, so that's obviously not sustainable. We're hoping to move to a 40-unit rotary milking parlour for next spring.
Hello, my name is Donal Kelly. I'm a Chagas advisor here in Claremorris, County Mayo. I'm working with Oisin here on the Chagas and Aurivo profitability programme. I'm just going to take a quick run through of, I suppose, what events led up to Oisin taking on the development and improving the facilities on the farm. I suppose first what we started off was doing a rough design where the cubicle shed would be located, where the parlour were located, and what type of parlour it would be. As highlighted there, Oisin wants to improve its facilities, and with the cow numbers he's going to, we have decided that a 40-unit rotary parlour would be future-proofing the farm. Also, we need to also improve and increase the amount of slurry storage on the farm, as well as providing cubicles and a calving area. So the existing parlour wasn't feasible to be extended for the size of the herd we're going to, so it's a 6-unit parlour, plus in terms of where it's located, there's cubicles and tanks behind it, so it would have not made any sense really, and plus in terms of location of the yard, wouldn't have been feasible. So the project this size, after Oisin has everything priced, is working out around €2,500 a cow. So €2,500 a cow is roughly split between 60% of the funding going towards the parlour and the collection yard and facilities, and 40% towards the cubicle shed. Now that also includes the TAMS grant being taken off the value of the shed as well, which is obviously helping a lot. And we also have a 10% contingency fund to add on to that as well if we need it. So I suppose in terms of the finance to fund this project, there's obviously the large scale loan that's needed to fund it, but also a bridging loan that's needed to fund the VAT element, but also to fund the TAMS element as well, as the building and the parlour has to be completed before the TAMS grant is drawn down. So a project this size with the amount of funding, and the business plan is based on a 15-year loan to pay it back. The term of the loan is extremely important in any business plan, as the shorter the term on the loan, the increase of cash per litre that has to go out each year. So the facility that will be put in place will be a new calving area at the top of the shed. This will be a pre-calve and batch area, obviously for cows before they calve, with calving handling facilities also located in there. Next to that will be 160 odd cubicles, running 2 rows of double cubicles into a 3 double 14-foot 6 slat to collect the slurry off the cubicles. Across from that, then next door to it will be the rotary parlour with the collecting yard and a new soil water tank also. The 24-unit herringbone versus the 40-unit rotary parlour. I suppose Oisin has highlighted he wants to go to 200 cows. There may be flexibility of that maybe to go further, so to future-proof the farm and the costings we did in terms of the business plan, it was feasible for Oisin to go ahead with the 40-unit parlour. So business plan is more important for whether it be a big large-scale parlour or a medium-sized parlour on any farm. Every farm is different financially. Business plan needs to show, can this be afforded and be paid for? It's a business, so we have to show to be able to pay for it.
Along with the cow having poor percentages, the fertility on the farm wasn't great either, and we had a very spread out calving pattern. So in 2016 we bred for 12 weeks and 12 weeks only. We cut off fairly sharp. We drove up our empty rate was fairly high. So those empty cows are all sold off the farm. Plus our replacement heifers that year that were in calf are also sold off the farm. And we bought in 60 high EBI and crossbred heifers to replace them. That gave us a huge jump immediately the following spring in percentages. With, I have to say, similar output in milk.
So just to give a summary, in 2016 Oisin's fat was 3.83. In 2019 it was 4.6, so that's a 0.47 increase on fat percentage alone, and again in 2020 it's up another 0.1% to date. In protein, 2016 was 3.17%, and 2019 it was 3.75%, and again to date we're ahead by 0.14% on last year. So again, it's climbing and climbing. And also another KPI is the mill solids sold per hectare in 2016 was 990 kilos of mill solids, but now in 2019 it was 1,275 kilos of mill solids per hectare as well. So Oisin, you said you bought in cows and you sold your own heifers and bought in heifers instead of them. What did you do with your own cows that you kept? So the Holstein stock cows, did you crossbreed them, or how did you?
Those Holstein cows, they're a fairly big, rangy Holstein cow with a lot of milk, so they were the ideal cross to put a Jersey bull on. So all of those cows got Jersey bulls that year and are still getting Jersey bulls. Any of them that have bred themselves into the herd and are still here, they're still getting Jersey bulls.
And so what's the plan going forward? Are you going to keep crossbreeding using high EBI black and whites, or what's your plan in the back of your head?
Well, any of those older, but they're getting on now, those original cows, they're still getting Jersey straws, but we're going back towards high EBI stock now rather than crossbreeding.
Okay, and has any sex semen been used on the farm, or do you think that's something in the future?
Down the road we will be looking into using sex semen on the heifers, really, probably not on the cows as of yet.
My name is Frank Kelly. I'm part of the team working on the Teagasc Aurivo joint programme here on Oisin's Focus Farm here in Honeymountain, County Mayo. Grassland, the growing of grass and the utilisation of grazed grass are paramount and key to Oisin's performance and profitability on this farm. Over the lifetime of the programme, Oisin has increased the amount of grass grown on the farm from 9 tonne in 2018 to a projected 12 tonne this year at the end of 2020. This has been achieved primarily by the better accessibility to the paddocks on the farm with the installation of over 1,500 metres of farm roadways. As well as that, Oisin has receded approximately 35% of the farm as well. The number of grazed days on the farm has increased from 2017 from 250 to 290 for this year. We're on a very dry farm here. Oisin targets to get the cows out here from the 1st of February, and he's nearly out by day, and very quickly he gets out then by day and night from early February onwards, and he is able to continue here graze continuously right up to the 20th of November. Currently the farm is stocked at approximately 2.4 cows to the hectare, and the intention is to increase it to 3 cows to the hectare from 2020 onwards. Side fertility on the farm is still quite low. Oisin is on a programme there at the moment where he's increasing the P and Ks on the farm as well as the pH status of the farm to increase the overall production of the farm to a projected 15 tonne. When he does get up to 3 cows to the hectare, he needs to be growing 15 tonne on this farm with 12 tonne at least utilised. On the out farms, Oisin has an overall farm area of approximately 30 hectares, and this supports his milking platform here from a winter feed point of view. Currently the farm is stocked at approximately 2.4 cows to the hectare, and the intention is to increase it to 3 cows to the hectare from 2020 onward.
All our slurry is now going out with low emission spreading, whereas years ago it would have been all splash bait. Now we're using trail and shoe and the umbilical system with the dribble bar.
And any disadvantages there, Oisin, or where are you finding the big advantages?
Anyways, we're getting slurry out on grazing ground more than we used with the splash bait, so it's not contaminating the sward as much, and we're getting a lot more nitrogen usage out of it as opposed to the splash bait years ago too, you know.
So you won't be going back to a splash bait?
No, not at all, no.
Okay. I suppose moving on then, what else are you doing, Oisin?
Well, we're putting a clover plan in place to get clover into the swards. We'll probably target to do a percentage of the farm each year, but we do need to get our soil fertility improved before we take on that plan. So we'll have to, once we get our P's and K's corrected, we'll be going after clover then, and hopefully next year, like, you know.
So if we were to come back here in 5 years' time, Oisin, 70-80% of the farm be covered in clover?
That'll be the plan, yeah, hopefully, yeah. Also, we're using a lot of protected urea this year. So most getting away from can, we used mostly protected urea for the year this year.
And going forward, could you see all your nitrogen fertiliser being spread with?
Yeah, well, this year was a kind of a trial basis, really. We used all protected urea for nitrogen, and it has worked well. And I don't see any reason why to go back to can. It's a good method for us. It's working out, so it's an easy win for us, you know. In 5 years' time, I'd hope that we have a lot more cows, say 200 plus cows, with a lot less work and labour. So we've got our roadways in, and our facilities should be completed by then with more cubicles, more slurry storage, milking times cut, and just streamline the whole setup. On the ground then, I'd be hoping to have a good proportion of the farm with clover growing in it, where there's very little clover on the farm presently, along with a plan in place to get more hedgerows on the farm as well. Other than that, a simple system where it's very labour efficient.
Are you going to contract your heifers, Oisin?
Yeah, that's the plan. So we keep the calf for the first 9 months, and they go off then, and they come back to me as in-calf heifers.